Imagine for a second a force so incredibly powerful that it can literally carve canyons out of solid stone. Yet, it's so subtle, so quiet that you can't see it, touch it, or even measure it. It's like this mysterious, invisible current running right beneath the surface of our everyday reality. Now, what if I told you that you could actually tap into that exact force? What if you could navigate the absolute hardest, most stressful challenges of your life with crystal clarity and, honestly, zero friction? Sounds impossible, right? Well, namaste dosto, मैं हूं Siri और आप देख रहे हैं Siri's Mind Atlas. Aj, we are completely stepping away from the endless noise, the crushing stress, and that toxic hustle culture of the modern world. Instead, we are embarking on a deep cinematic journey into ancient wisdom to uncover something truly transformative: the philosophy of flow. So to really understand this, we have to travel back thousands of years. We're going all the way back to the 5th century BC, to a figure who is so wrapped in mystery that historians actually debate if he even existed as a single person. His name was Lao Tzu, and he left behind this absolute masterpiece called the Tao Te Ching. Inside it, there's this one line that just stops you in your tracks. That which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substances. I mean, just let the paradox of that sink in for a moment. In our modern world, we're basically programmed from day one to believe that if we face a hard obstacle, we have to be harder. We have to be tougher, more rigid, right? We think sheer koshish, pure willpower, and grinding are the only ways to succeed. But Lao Tzu is presenting a radically different reality here. A reality where true lasting power doesn't come from forcing things, it actually comes from yielding. To really grasp this philosophy, we first need to explore the core concept itself, which is called the Tao. If you translate it simply, it just means the way. But what exactly is it? Well, the Tao isn't a deity, and it's definitely not a person. You can think of it as an Adrishya Shakti, this invisible, all-encompassing natural force that literally guides the entire universe. It's the underlying beating rhythm of existence itself. You know, it's fascinating because the very first line of the Tao Te Ching actually warns us about this. It says that the Tao that can be described in words is not the true eternal Tao. It's like trying to catch the wind in a net. It sits just beyond the limits of our human senses. We can never fully box it into a neat little definition. And yet, our ultimate goal in life, the secret to true peace, is to live in complete, unbroken harmony with it. And that naturally brings us to what is easily the most fascinating, and honestly, the most misunderstood concept in all of Taoism. It's called Wu Wei. This translates to effortless action, or my personal favorite, the action of non-action. Now listen carefully, because it is absolutely crucial to understand that Wu Wei does not mean being lazy. It doesn't mean being passive or just literally sitting around doing nothing. Not at all. What it actually means is engaging so deeply in the present moment that you're acting without forcing anything. You're not striving, and there's zero mental friction. It's an action that just flows completely naturally from a place of deep inner stillness, aligning you perfectly with the rhythm of the universe. Let's actually bring this mystical, ancient concept down to earth, right into the reality of our modern lives. Today, modern psychologists and elite athletes actually have a name for this exact state of Wu Wei. They call it being in the zone. It's this incredible psychological state of complete, total immersion. You know that feeling? Suddenly, all that heavy weight of anxiety, all that endless overthinking, sab gayab ho jata hai. It just vanishes. The retired professional basketball legend Bill Russell actually described experiencing this exact state while on the court. He said it felt as if the entire game was playing out in slow motion. He had this mental clarity that was so sharp, he could literally sense how the next play was going to develop before anyone even moved. That ecstatic, completely frictionless focus, where time and space just seemed to melt away, that, my friends, is Wu Wei in action. Section 1. The Master's Unbroken Knife. The Parable of Cook Ting. There is this beautiful ancient text called the Zhuangzi, and it gives us an absolute masterclass in Wu Wei through this incredible story of a butcher named Cook Ting. See, his work wasn't brutal, and it wasn't exhausting. When he was cutting an ox, it looked like a beautifully choreographed dance. It was mesmerizing. So when the local lord asked him, "What is your secret?" Cook Ting explained his 19-year journey. He said that in year 1, he was exactly like most of us when we start a difficult task or face a tough exam. He just saw this huge, intimidating obstacle, the whole ox, and he just hacked at it forcefully. Then by year 3, his understanding had deepened. He no longer saw the whole ox, he understood its complex internal anatomy. But by year 19, he had reached true transcendent mastery. Cook Ting said he actually stopped looking with his eyes altogether. His physical perception came to a complete stop, and he moved entirely by spirit. He just naturally guided his blade through the empty spaces between the joints. He found the absolute path of least resistance. The really profound metaphor here is actually all about the knife itself. Cook Ting pointed out that mediocre cooks, they just hack their way right through the bone. And because they force their way through life like that, their knives break and they literally have to replace them every single month. But Master Cook Ting, he glides perfectly through the natural hollows. Bina kizi zabardastike, completely without force. And because he doesn't fight the natural resistance, he has used the exact same knife for 19 years, and it is still razor sharp. The life lesson here is so incredibly clear. When we try to force our way through life, our careers, our relationships, it just causes immense collateral damage and complete exhaustion. But practicing Wu Wei, it preserves our energy, it protects our spirit, and it keeps our inner selves razor sharp. Section 2. The illusion of control. Why are we burning out? Look around today. Students, professionals, artists, we are all facing this massive epidemic of hustle culture and severe burnout. We are so desperately trying to force outcomes that are simply not ready to unfold yet. The thing is, the human ego plays a massive trick on us. It makes us genuinely believe that we must, and that we actually can, control our entire environment in order to survive. But just take a step back and consider all the incredibly vital processes that happen completely outside of our control. Think about your digestion, or the literal miraculous cellular healing of a cut on your hand. What about the steady, natural rhythm of your own heartbeat? Or even whom we are naturally attracted to, and how the complex future unfolds day by day? You see, the river of life already has a course. 99% of existence manages itself perfectly well without our conscious intervention, and yet we completely exhaust ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable. Let's just compare these two completely contrasting worldviews for a second. First, you have the modern ideal, which is just exhausting. It completely celebrates forcing results, having extreme, cutthroat ambition, and constantly trying to bend your environment to your will. It is the exact equivalent of jumping into an aggressively rushing river and frantically trying to swim against the current. You're just going to drown in your own effort. Then you have the Taoist ideal. This is entirely about finding the natural course, pravakasachalna, going with the flow. And let me be clear, you aren't giving up, not at all. You are gracefully reading the currents of the stream that already exists, and you are letting nature unfold without adding your own useless resistance. Section 3. The virtue of water, the supreme good. If you ever just sit and listen closely to a flowing river, you'll realize something beautiful. It never struggles. It never forces its way. It just adapts, and it flows. That is why water is the ultimate teacher in Taoism. Think about it. First, water is literally the softest and most yielding substance on Earth. And yet, through pure, quiet persistence, it overcomes the hardest, solid rock through erosion. Softness actually conquers hardness. Second, water always gathers in the lowest, humblest places. It flows down into the valleys and the soil, the exact places that the proud human ego usually tries to avoid. And finally, it nourishes absolutely all of creation. It gives this incredible life force to everything it touches, but it does so completely without any ambition, without asking for a thank you, and completely without competition. The Tao Te Ching captures this beautiful essence perfectly. It says, "The supreme good is like water, which benefits all of creation without trying to compete with it." Just pause and really think about the immense, almost unshakable strength that is found in true humility. When you finally stop trying to fiercely compete with the universe, when you strip away that rigid ego and that blinding ambition, what you're left with is an unstoppable, incredibly deep, quiet power. Section 4. The art of letting go. Releasing the branch. So the big question is, how do we actually do this? How do we stop hacking at the bone and start flowing like water in our everyday lives? Well, if life is a rushing river, many of us are desperately clinging to a branch on the riverbank. We are absolutely terrified of letting go because we're scared of where the current might take us. But to find flow, we literally have to learn to let go. We have to release that heavy, suffocating baggage of the past and those invisible, paralyzing anxieties about the future. It's so interesting because this ancient Eastern wisdom beautifully mirrors a concept from Western Stoic philosophy called amor fati, to love your fate. It means deeply embracing the outcome, whatever it may be. When you finally let go of your desperate, suffocating need for a very specific forced result, you immediately relieve the pressure. Whether you are studying late into the night for a massive exam, or grinding to build a career, or creating a piece of art, when you forget the pressure of the results, you merge completely with the now. And that, my friends, is the true secret of Wu Wei.
As we conclude our exploration today, I want you to just sit with this thought experiment. Really ask yourself, right now, in the rushing river of your own life, what is the branch that you are desperately holding onto? And what would happen if you simply let it go? Just imagine the profound calm and the incredibly effortless momentum that is waiting for you right there in the current. Thank you so much for exploring the deep atlas of the mind with me today. Keep flowing, embrace the current, and I will see you in our next journey together.